Good morning. It is time for the wake up call with myself and Alex. What's up, everyone? It is February 24th, 2025. How's
Good
everyone feeling
morning.
on this
Good
day?
morning. Good morning. I'm doing well. I mean, aside from seeing price go down and anticipating the questions. Do you still believe? Are you still bullish? And so anyway,
Well,
YouTube is now live, Bull.
we are live on YouTube if you want to see what we're talking about. And let's get the show started. All right, it is February 24th, 2025. It is 10:07 Eastern time as of the time of recording. Number one story. The SEC dropped the case against Robinhood and OpenSea. So big step in the right direction. What's your thoughts on this, Alex?
That's hey, good stuff, OpenSea, Robinhood. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like there is a glaring case that is sticking out like a sore thumb that just needs to be dropped, and that would be a much more exciting thing than anything else. But hey, you know what? Positive developments, everything, something, same deal. OpenSea, Robinhood, let's go. Let's sure. Great.
Let's go. It seems like to me, what everything that we all knew, a clear case of overreach from the SEC,
Yeah.
overbearing, big brother mentality. That seems to be coming to light, and I think it's a good thing. All right. While everyone else was bearish, BlackRock has been buying Ethereum. They now own over 1.3 million Ethereum, worth over $3.6 billion.
What do I think about that? I don't know, man. That seems to be bullish. I mean, I don't want to sit here and be like, over the top bullish. They own $3.6 billion worth of Ethereum at a point when sentiment is really low, where a lot of people are saying, we're probably scratching their heads like, why in the world would BlackRock own that dead? It's never going to be worth it again. Now's the time to buy into other layer ones. Why would BlackRock have so much of this dinosaur? Why would they even consider having a spot Ethereum ETF? Well,
Yeah.
maybe they're excuse me. I like buying smart money buys when sentiment is at least in an overreaction territory. I would say that I'm not a huge fan of Ethereum, but I would say that sentiment on Ethereum warrants a smart money buy on Ethereum. So
Yeah, I would agree with. I am not a big fan of Ethereum either. I think that there's way better technologies. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like as today where it stands that we don't really need Ethereum to go into all-time highs to
yes,
really kick off a proper alt season. And I think that this idea again that retail is going to outsmart BlackRock is a fallacy. They spend trillions of dollars to ensure that that doesn't happen. But here we are. Retail is bearish. BlackRock is buying.
correct.
All right. Michael Saylor, same thing. MicroStrategy buys another 20,000 Bitcoin worth $1.99 billion. The infinite money glitch continues for Michael Saylor and Strategy. Not micro anymore, just Strategy.
Yeah, all right, listen, I'm not even going to pretend to be bullish on this. They buy, a famous saying from Michael Saylor is like, I'm going to buy tops forever. Okay, so this does not mean that that we're at a peak. It doesn't mean that that we're at a bottom, or that we're going to see this cause some kind of mega bull run. MicroStrategy just buys Bitcoin. That's all that they do. They will buy Bitcoin. If Bitcoin tomorrow went to $1 million, would they sell? No, they would buy. And so they will continue to buy. And I'm not going to be affected emotionally in any direction by Michael Saylor in MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin.
The king of DCAing.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. All right. The rug of the day. Kanye West. It's time to launch my own blockchain. Who wants to get rugged again? If Hawk Tuah wasn't enough for you, if Libra wasn't enough for you, how about Kanye West blockchain? Let's go.
So, I mean, does he even know the difference between blockchain and crypto? Is he just talking about launching his own cryptocurrency? Oh my goodness, I just read a comment. I think Alex is capitulating. Okay, buddy. All right. You know what? Kanye launching his own blockchain would cause me to capitulate a little bit. You know, not really, but like this is not something I'm excited about. It's that euthanasia roller coaster. Can you pull up my screen, Devin? Yeah. So I'll share the euthanasia roller coaster. Oh my goodness. It's like this is like the Kanye coin or Kanye the Kanye the next thing in the euthanasia coaster. If you want to I better be careful. Unalive yourself. We have the big run up with the Trump coin. That's number one. And then the first loop is the Melania coin. And then the next loop is Jail Presidente with Dave Portnoy. Next loop is the Libra coin. And so here we go. One more loop, a few more loops. If you're just going to buy over and over again these stupid pump and dumps, then you're very close to being unalived. That's how I feel about the Kanye anything crypto. Please Kanye, will you please stay away? Please, I'm begging you.
I beg of thee. Yeah, yes. I have absolutely no interest. Zero, none, not even an ounce of interest in any coin that is brand new from a person who has not actively been in the proper trenches. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about what we've been going through the last, 6 months of what people like to call the trenches. No, the trenches was 2022. The trenches was 2018. I have no interest in anything from anyone who hasn't been hit in the mouth, metaphorically and figuratively. I have no interest in it. I say it all the time. Pioneers get the arrows and settlers get the land. I want to be early, but I do not want to be first, especially from somebody that has no background. It's like the tenets of the richest man in Babylon, and he talks about investing 10% of everything that you own. And he goes to the brick masoner and he invests in diamonds. It's like, well, this guy knows about bricks. He doesn't know about diamonds. So guess what? You just lost your feast. And so if Kanye has an investment with music, maybe I might be interested, but with crypto, I have no interest.
Zero.
All right. It's time for a new little game that we've created called Bull or Bear. We're going to say a hot take, and Alex and myself are going to say if we're bullish on this, like if we agree, or if we're bearish, if we disagree. All right, let's go. All right. Will Bitcoin replace the US dollar by 2035? Bullish or bearish?
All right, I'm a mega bull on Bitcoin. I think it's going to be a lot higher than now in 2035. But if it's bullish or bearish on this statement, I am a flat out bear. There's no way. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen in 10 years. 10 years is what I've come to find in life is that we think 10 years is a long time, and then 10 years comes like in the snap of a fingers, and 10 years is not enough time. I'm not even sure if the Bitcoin would replace the US dollar by any point. I don't think that that's something that that any government, the amount of power, the amount of control that a government has with fiat currencies, they're not just going to hand that over to something that they can't control. And so, no, bear. I'm a mega bear on that statement, and I will be for quite a while.
All right, I'm gonna go through a loop rabbit hole with my opinions on this. So if we think
Okay.
about if we're saying straight up, is Bitcoin going to replace the US dollar? I would say I'm bearish on that. But here's where I'm gonna go with this. If we're thinking about what is the US dollar, the US dollar is a derivative of gold, right? That's what it originally was. It was a note, a promissory note for gold. So if you ask me, which we're not asking, but if you ask me, it's my question. If you ask me, can Bitcoin replace gold, or at least be larger than gold by 2035? I would say I am a bull on that. I don't know if in a practical sense, though, Bitcoin has the capabilities of transacting like needed on the US dollar unless they really figure out the Lightning Network. But I do see a scenario where Bitcoin is larger market cap than gold by 2035, which that's where I'm going to go. So,
Okay. What would that be? I'm trying to think. That would be like a $750,000 Bitcoin if gold was still at today's, prices in 2035. So that's possible.
yeah, I think that that's definitely possible. Like, could you see $1 million Bitcoin by 2035? I would say I'm bullish on that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Bull or bear? Solana will become the #1 smart contract.
I'll go bear again. I'm sorry, man. There's so many potential options. And what's the timeline here? I mean, if we're talking about 2026, 2027, 2028, I would think if there's ever going to be a time when Solana would become the #1 smart contract platform, it would have to be within like the next 5 years. I think that something else would overtake Solana the longer we go. Maybe it's something that doesn't even exist yet that would all of a sudden pop onto the scene and be the place, solve all the problems and not have any problems of its own. So I guess I'll go bear on Solana. There's just too many options. There's so many possibilities that could overtake Ethereum.
Yes, I agree with your sentiment that there are a lot of possibilities. I think that some easy candidates are Solana, XRP, HBAR. I think is a strong candidate to do so. But I've been learning a lot about developing because we are developing for Solnic. And the more that I learn about code, the more that I learn about Solana smart contracts, the more bullish, not on the price, but the technology of Solana that I become. And I think if anyone knows Rust, if they know C++, you can write and launch things on Solana. And so from the idea to a product, I don't think that there is a more streamlined ecosystem that exists right now. Now, is there lots of awesome products on Solana? No, not yet. But was there in 1997 on the internet? No, there wasn't either. So I think that we are in the very beginning. And so I'm going to say I'm bullish on this, although I do agree with your sentiment that anything could do it. I think we both agree that Ethereum is not going to be the #1 smart contract by this time, the next bull market.
I'm a bull on that statement.
The question is, who's it going to be? I think that Solana is as good as any. I think it'd be Solana, XRP, HBAR would be my top 3 picks for that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. XRP to $200 by 2028. Bull or bear, Alex?
We're both bears. I'm gonna speak for you. All right, XRP to $200 by 2028. Well, here's the deal. Okay, Devin and I were both very confident about XRP well before it ripped super hard, and we both did very well. Devin admittedly did much better than I did because he was holding on to a large stack and just waiting for that moment that we both told you about was going to happen, which is when XRP rips, it just makes violent moves. And so, do you know what I'm going to be doing a great deal of in the next bear market? is I'm going to be buying a lot of XRP and waiting for that moment. And I'm sure as other things start moving and XRP's just dragging along, so many people are going to be asking those questions, those same questions they asked on November 4th, 2024. I'm bored with XRP. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything. I feel like should I trade it to buy some AI token? And we're going to be sitting here and be like, no, do not do that. When it rips violently. XRP will do very well for us in the future, but not going from whatever its bear market bottom is next time to $200. No, that's absurd. That's what market cap is that? That is XRP people don't care about market cap, but that's multiple trillions of dollars of market cap. That's something like 10 trillion or maybe even more than that off the top of my head. It's hard with supply, inflation, and everything to figure that out. No, not happening.
All right. Alex spoke for me, but I am a bear on this statement as well. I do not think that XRP gets above $200. You could talk me into $50. You could talk me into that, but $200 I think is unreasonable. And really, it's going to be dependent. Like my target for XRP is going to be dependent on how high it goes and how low it goes. It's going to be based off of Fibonacci's and Wyckoff. That's where all my targets start from. That's where they end. You could talk me into probably $50, I would say, by 2028. But as far as it going to $200, I think is absurd.
Yes.
All right. And I'm a huge bull on XRP. It was my second largest holding. It
Right.
still is my second largest holding, but I'm just not unreasonable. All right. It's time to get into the charts and the crypto. We'll switch to your screen while I pull mine up.
All right. Sounds good. Right now, my eyes are on Bitcoin dominance and the DXY. And so it's interesting, guys. I'm looking at your comments and I'm seeing a little of frustration and anger and despair that is new. It's like there's a certain amount of I don't want to say bitterness, but maybe that's the word in what I'm seeing in a lot of your comments right now that is different. Okay, that's different than even Friday. Okay, so I know it's been rough. I know that people are whatever. It's been rough for all of 2024, and here's a comment: no anger, just stating facts. Crypto just don't have it anymore. Okay, all right. I feel something different, a level of tension different right now, and so I'm just going to repeat what I've been saying for the last 22 days now, ever since the liquidation with the tariffs, all those scares. I said at least 3 weeks of chop. In those 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks of chop. So does that mean, all right, it's past 3 weeks, here we go, time for rockets? No, what I'm saying is at least 3 weeks of chop, and that chop would be a very a time of lots of tension, lots of anxiety, lots of people declaring that it's just straight up, it's over, declaring that it's over. And I'm going to maintain a bullish bias until Bitcoin leaves the range that it's in to the upside or the downside. If it leaves the range to the downside, I will reevaluate, but I have a great deal of conviction that Bitcoin is going to leave this range to the upside. A couple things that I want to point out with Bitcoin dominance is looking at the chart, it broke through 702 retrace on that from its 2020 peak, 2021 peak. I think it was early 2021 when it peaked last time. Broke through the 702 retrace. Bitcoin dominance was much higher at this time in 2021 than it is now, and that's a data point. It's a data point that seems to communicate to me that could have been a local top. Looking at where Bitcoin dominance is now, it's right now flirting with the 2024 peak. The 2024 peak was 61.54%. Bitcoin's dominance is at 61.51%. No matter where we're going from here, okay, I am open-minded, but no matter where we're going from here, a local move for Bitcoin dominance from here should be down. Should be down. And if you remember a couple Fridays ago during my live stream, some people got on my live stream and was like, hey, looks like Bitcoin's dominance is plummeting. Maybe now's the time. And I was looking at it. I was looking at the EMA, the 20-day EMA. I was like, this seems like actually a point where it would make sense to expect Bitcoin to outperform altcoins from this moment. Okay, so I'm trying to be unbiased. At this moment, January or February 24th, 2025, short term, maybe for the rest of this week, for a couple weeks, we should, in my opinion, expect altcoins to outperform Bitcoin. Yeah. So there's that. There's the DXY. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, like, I just tweeted this out. I have not, if I were to like really articulate clearly exactly where I'm at in the market, especially in regard to the altcoins, because a lot of times I'm really bullish on Bitcoin, and it's like, you know, we need to see what Bitcoin's going to do. And then I know that it's a small season for altcoins. But I'm going to say this, like, I have not been this bullish that I am right now in this moment since the Japan rate cuts. And I would maybe for altcoins, probably even more. I'm probably more bullish right now than I was during the Japan rate cuts when I was very sure that that was a local bottom. I'm going to bring up my chart real quick just to show you Ethereum. And we're looking at the 1 hour chart on Ethereum. And, you know, it's like we keep having bearish news and we keep having like horrible things happen, but it can't even break an uptrend. Like we had the largest crypto theft in history. In history, $1.5 billion was stolen. And it could not even break a uptrend. Like, my question would be, like, if that cannot do it, what is it going to take? Because World War III couldn't do it. Japan couldn't do it. Economic sentiment couldn't do it. $1.5 billion swiped couldn't do it. Like, what narrative is aliens going to come and say that they are the dev of Ethereum? Like, what's it going to take? I would like to know. But as of right now, I have not been more bullish in the entire market, especially in regards to altcoins. Like you were mentioning about the DXY is just on it's ripping to the downside. Ethereum is in an uptrend. And we are on top of all of the, moving averages. We do need to get above, I would say $3,000 is sort of the critical level to get above for Ethereum. But right now we're just holding this uptrend, and we barely closed red when 1.5 was wiped. And to me, that's an indication of how much selling exhaustion we have in the market. And like you were talking about, the sentiment is just in the dumps.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, so I'm still reading the comments and I'm like, man, it's hard. I'll admit it's not easy for me to sit here and not get sucked in by the sentiment that I'm feeling all around me. And yet I'm just, I feel, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I feel logically looking at that Ethereum chart that you just showed, like it logically makes sense. If you were to long or short Ethereum right now, it makes sense to long Ethereum, to long at support. And I feel like if I'm going to say something like that, I'm going to get 10 different comments saying, no, you're an idiot. You're wrong. It's over. I see no signs on the charts for me to say that, oh yeah, I'm going to pack your bags. It's over. It's just the incredibly high expectations that people had going into 2025. The way that's feeding into the sentiment right now, it's just wild, man. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about it on Friday, but especially now, like, I don't think sentiment's been this low since the bear market.
Yeah.
Maybe the C19 crash was the last time that sentiment was this low. And to me, I like leaned into that. I think that's one of my strengths, is just like reading macro sentiment and reading where retail's at in things, and that served me well. I'm not 100% right. I don't get everything right, but I have a pretty good track record of literally just doing Wyckoff, Fibonacci's, and then just reading where the masses are at. I had a comment today. They were saying, he's bullish, but we keep dipping lower and lower and lower. It's like, on what? Like, ranging and lower are not the same. Like, what is dipping lower and lower right now?
Look, I mean, look at literally, guys, look at the charts. Solana is dipping. I'll give you that, but everything else is just chopping ever since 3 weeks ago. That massive liquidation, like almost 99% of charts, what you're seeing is just a chop. You're not seeing these cryptos go any lower. And what do we do with that, man? I mean, I have Polkadot pulled up on my screen. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Are you seeing Polkadot, Devin, on YouTube right now or on Restream?
No, you got the market cap. You might be in a different browser. If you see at the top where it says
okay, I see what you're saying. Yep, I got it. I'm good. Here's Polkadot. I bought Polkadot last week. No, Solana's not done. I bought Polkadot last week. The thing that I was looking for with Polkadot is the thing that I look for with a lot of cryptos is just, we have the downtrend, a breakthrough of the downtrend, and a back test. I actually should have waited a little bit to buy Polkadot. Maybe I'll buy a little bit more Polkadot. I'm not a huge fan of Polkadot. I just like the chart. Okay, so we are at the back test level of that downtrend, and there's lots of cryptocurrencies that are on their way. They've been chopping, they're getting near, and now they are at the back test point of the downtrend. And this is the exact thing that I was looking for in August when I begged you guys to buy altcoins. I made 3 different videos saying now is the time to buy altcoins. And so I'm looking at a chart like Polkadot, and this is exactly what I was looking for in August. I'm a buyer of Polkadot. I'm a buyer of several other cryptos. I'm trying to think. There was another one. AOs, I think, was another one that I bought some AOs on Friday. Am I down on AOs right at this moment? I am. AOs did not. It's not because of that chart pattern, but because it's in a certain liquidity zone. I'm down since I bought AOs on Friday, but I am perfectly fine with buying AOs at this level. There's lots of cryptocurrencies that just they look like they're getting near, at least if they're not there yet, near these buy entries that I personally I've been eyeing for quite a while. So Ethereum's almost there. Not quite, but Ethereum, for example, on February 9th of this year was in the 2500s. Now it's in the 2600s. We're chopping. I know it still feels like, for the most part, we're just hemorrhaging. We're losing all our money. We're chopping. I mean, unless you're 100% in meme coins, I'm sorry, but
right,
we're chopping.
I will say about Solana, I'm gonna pull mine up real quick. I will say about Solana. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I will say about Solana. So I'm on the 5-hour chart right now, and I'm not saying that this is it for Solana. We're at 152, and it definitely is skidding hard. But we are seeing, just in the last day or two, we're seeing a divergence. And a divergence to me is a sudden, is a change. It's a mark of change, and we're sitting on a lot of support over here, lots of trading over here for Solana. I mean, multiple. This is 1,200 days. Well, 1,200 candles of 5-hour candles. I don't know how many days that is. I could figure it out. But when we look at the RSI, when we're on top of all this support for Solana, this was you were in a downtrend on the RSI, lower, low, all the way down to 14, and then all the way down to 13, which is extremely oversold. If we were to zoom out, it hasn't been that oversold in a long time. But then you go lower and the RSI is higher. So this is a divergence. So this to me is starting the bottom here for Solana. That's what I would say for Solana. People, I'm seeing a lot of calls for 120. I don't think so. My God, you have to get through all the support to get to 120. I don't see that. So there you go. That's my thoughts on Solana. Because people were saying that It's cooked. I'll switch back to yours.
No, I mean, I'm looking at Solana, very aggressive downtrend. Once that breaks the upside, I mean, once it breaks that downtrend, I think there's going to be a lot of buys. There's going to be very heavy buy volume on Solana. So, trying to think here. I mean, I don't have any other charts to show. I mean, I was looking at the DXY. Let me just pull that up again. DXY just looks like it's rolled over, and this looks like distribution. It looks like it's ready to come down. So,
yeah, the DXY looks very, very weak to me. Bitcoin dominance, like you were talking about, 702 retrace. These are all good things in the macro to sort of indicate what is next. Bitcoin's been chopping for 110 days now. And every time we get above 95, everyone's bullish. And every time we get below 95, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. But that's where we've been for 110 days. You asked about Cardano. I don't mind risk to reward for Cardano. What are your thoughts? 76 cents right now.
71.64, right back down. Actually, you know what? I might have a limit order that just filled on Cardano. I mean, just so you know where my mindset was. I don't remember if I set it at the top of this zone or the bottom. If it's at the top, if it was at the top of this zone, then it has filled and I'm good to go. So my entry was 70.89 cents. It looks like it got down to 70.74. If it were to go down any further, I would expect it to bottom out around 67.85. And at that point, I'm in. I'm straight up in. This is the zone. So
yeah, I think Cardano gets to $6. I think that's pretty reasonable. Now, if I look at my chart for Cardano, I'm on the 5-hour right now, and I like what I see right now. So this is like your mark down, which is like your bear market. So this is a more micro time frame. This to me is a clear selling climax, massive, and a lot of the market got that too. Like nothing, like you were saying, nothing's went lower than this moment right here for almost 99% of coins. And this looks like the start of accumulation. We need to get above, for me, 83 cents to put us back in bearish posture. It's in chop posture, which is grueling and can suck, but you're at the bottom of the range again.
Yeah.
You have lots of support over here. I think even in the micro, if you were to pull a fib off of this, just a micro fib, not even the macro, which takes you to $6. I mean, you're looking at a $2 target for Cardano, which is the macro retracement. So there's confluence there. I think that's definitely on the table. I think it's a pretty good risk to reward play for Cardano. You're at pretty much your bear market lows. You're making a higher low on your bear market lows, just the same like what we talked about with the C19 crash. Bitcoin got back to the bear market lows, slightly higher. Sentiments in the dumps. To me, these are the charts that I'm looking for in the macro to with low to no inflation, with charts that look like this. This is the stuff that I'm buying. Someone asked me if Solana can get above 1,000. I don't think that's. I mean, I'm not mad at that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think $500 is my target.
I'm in a similar position. We have with Solana. Well, Solana's weird. It's one of those cryptocurrencies. If you look at their inflation, it's too inflationary, in my opinion, to get to $1,000. But then, how do you factor in the thousands of cryptocurrencies that launch every day on Solana that lock up somewhere between like $2,500 and $5,000 worth of Solana that's locked into their liquidity pool forever, and it's never coming out? I've never really processed that. So if we saw Solana get to $1,000 between now and 2028, I would not be shocked, but I'm sticking. I would also say around $500.
Yeah. Can we look at Raydium? Yeah, let's pull up Raydium. I don't know if you have. I do like Raydium, and I haven't looked at it today, but I have liked it in the past. So $3 right now. This to me was a delayed move. It's the same sort of move that we had with the rest of the market. Your violent back test, but Raydium for whatever reason was a little bit more delayed. When we look on the daily, though, I don't like that it's below the 200 moving average, but it is on a lot of support. I would say we're probably going to be chopping for radium for a little while. This is a lot of support to catch it, which it looks like it has. I do think that the risk to reward, like anytime you're in below the macro 236 with low inflation, I think it's a pretty good risk to reward. I'm not sitting here clamoring and saying that radium is going to reverse tomorrow and we're breaking to the upside tomorrow. But I don't think that it's going to go much lower than this point that it just got to 280 or whatever it was. What's your thoughts on that?
I'll let you have your thoughts on that. I don't have any. I haven't done much charting with radium.
It has,
so
to me, it has the same sort of chart as VeChain, ADA, all the rest of them. It's macro accumulation at the 236. Generally, I think it's a pretty good value right here. However, yeah, I don't like that it's below the 200. We'll see how today closes. Maybe this is just a grab.
This might be like a really good buy right now for a quick scalp. I mean, look at that volume, man. I mean, the sell volume is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen volume like that in a while. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the next daily candle was a level of buy volume that was maybe a little bit lower than today's sell volume. So we'll see.
I think that radium is a good product, and I think that is important. Like, they do have a real product that me and you use almost every day, so it's a good product. But yeah, I think it's a decent value right here. It's like you said, especially in the micro. Awesome listening to you both. Thank you. What are your thoughts on
Thank you.
Shiba
Inu, SHIB? Oh man, this is a chart I haven't looked at in a while. And maybe it's something we do need to be paying attention to because of just it's, what is it? I mean, it's the 12th largest cryptocurrency in the world or something like that. Maybe a little bit larger. Maybe it's been top 10 before. So how far down is it? It's down more than 50%, about 60% from its local top in December. Another one that I have some Shiba Inu still. I sold a little bit before. It's back close to its bottom. I don't expect this to go back below its 2024 bottom, which is just a hair lower. I mean, a little bit lower, a little bit, 30% lower than where it is right now. So this one, personally, I mean, risk to reward values there, but I'm not touching it right now. Right now, the play for me is more utility. It's more utility, larger cap, low inflation stuff we've talked about. And so when would I be interested on Shiba Inu? Maybe soon, maybe in a couple weeks here.
I don't mind. Same thing that Alex said. I don't mind the risk to reward ratio on Shiba. I think it's a decent play. For me personally, I don't like holding a coin where it's like I have to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros to figure out what the price is. I don't like that. That's annoying, and it takes too much brain power. And I think that Shiba has an absurd amount of supply. It's like 589 trillion. And they'll always be like, oh, we just burned 1 billion. It's like, okay, well, wake me up when they burn 5 trillion. Because 1 billion is literally nothing. That's like $30 worth or whatever. But I think the risk to reward is pretty good. I do think that Shiba probably does north of a 5x, and you're below the 236. But I'm with Alex. Utility, low inflation is the play to me. You could say that Shiba has low inflation. It's just the supply is like it's never going to get above a penny or whatever people are telling you. So, all right. What about meme coin super cycle? Are people calling for it? Memes have been hammered. What do you think about a meme coin super cycle?
I think what we should all be rooting for, whether we are 90% in meme coins or 0% in meme coins, is for utility to pump super hard right now. Meme coins. When do meme coins do well? Meme coins do well when there's a lot of excitement in the market, when there's a lot of hope in the market, when there's realistic, not realistic, but people are thinking, how can I 100x my portfolio? That's when meme coins do well. This is right now the exact opposite environment for meme coins to thrive than what we need. So step one, I think, is personally, I mean, the charts that I like right now are older utility cryptos with good tokenomics. And so step one, probably let's see Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Step two, Ethereum. And I don't want to do that whole flow of Bitcoin, Ethereum, large cap, small cap, whatever thing like that. But we need sentiment a lot better than where it is right now. And the next time that sentiment gets better, next time that greed is at a score of 90, you better believe that we're going to forget where we are today, and meme coins are going to do just fine.
Realistically, I think it's not like this, like people sort of map out this, like step one, we're going to do this. Step two, we're going to do this. Step three. It's really like step 1, 2, 3. It's like going for an arm bar, you know, in jiu-jitsu. It's like they'll tell you there's 1, 2, 3 different steps, but really it's like it's all one sort of fluid motion. To me, when Bitcoin gets to 118,000, we're probably going to see Ethereum looking really bullish, and we're probably going to see the hype on memes all return kind of at the same time. I will say, like, the sentiment on memes is in the dumps, which is, I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm rooting for utility. I think utility looks really good right now, but I don't think this narrative, there is a narrative that I've seen from a lot of what I would call retail TikTok, that, you know, memes are dead forever. And I don't believe that.
I definitely don't believe that. That's ridiculous.
How are we feeling about 118,000 by the end of the month? Sounds crazy, but is that still on the table? I think it's still on the table, but if it happens March 3rd, you know, I don't really care. But yes, I'm very bullish that the next leg is going to go to the upside, not to the downside. I've said many times, like I bet my beard, I've said that Bitcoin will reach $70,000. Like, you don't need to have any anxiety about it. It's going to happen. But what I'm claiming is we're going to go to 118 before we go to 70. And I bet my beard on that we will reach 118 before we reach 70. That is my personal thesis.
All right. That was Devin's thesis. That I had nothing to do with that. I will say, hey guys, remember just to vouch for Devin. Do you guys remember back in like August and September when Devin was saying what was the beard thing? It was $80,000. I'm going to shave my beard. Or, yeah, 80K. And a lot of people were probably like, I don't know, man. I don't. Devin's going to have to shave his beard. I think he's going to have to shave his beard. And then what happened? It just overnight.
Boring.
We went
boring until it's not. And the crazy part is I kept saying 80K, and I would even whisper and say the real number is 100K. That's what I kept doing.
That's right. That's right. And then we hit 100K before the new year, which most people, including myself, would have been like, I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm bullish, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Man, it's just the how quickly sentiment changes, and there's nothing like price action to change sentiment. And I'm telling you, tomorrow, if we wake up and Bitcoin's at 101,000, not even a new all-time high, guess what? The chat's going to look a whole lot different. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Can you look at Flux? Yeah. I like Flux a lot. I don't know if you got yours pulled up, but I'll pull it up.
I mean, I don't do much charting with Flux, but like it looks like every other altcoin. It looks like, you know, the last two videos that I've made on my TikTok are just, for the most part, I'm waiting, and I think within a few days or the next week, I'm going to be buying with all of my all in with all of my stable coins. And Flux looks exactly like the kind of crypto that that fits the bill. It fits the exact description of a crypto that I'd
Yep.
want to be buying.
Utility,
So,
AI, and to me, I've talked about it a little bit. So they have like they're kind of like Filecoin, like what Filecoin wants to be. Like they have this cloud, like a Dropbox kind of. They have this service that is a real world asset that's already available right now that you can use. And then they have the computational power. So to me, I'm a little bit more bullish on AI technology as of yesterday than I was a week ago because I've been messing around with it and it has gotten better. But to me, Flux is a leading candidate because what it does is it uses all of the GPUs around the world to put towards AI. And to me, it's like when I think about AI, actual artificial intelligence, you need to have a lot of computational power. And I'm not willing to just say like, oh, we call it AI, that's good enough. It's like, no, I need to know like where is the power coming from? And I'm not even saying that Flux is going to do it, but to me, they have the computational power necessary to potentially do it. But the chart, I mean, the chart looks, like you said, exactly like everything else. At the bottom of the bear market, you got 2022 prices with 2025 risk. You've had a downtrend for a while on Flux, and it looks to be very, very close to breaking out of that. Very close to breaking out of that. Like Alex said, maybe in even a couple of days or weeks.
yeah, I mean, just this chart right here. The one that I'm looking at on your screen. I just, people are going to be kicking themselves. It's not easy to go out on a limb like this when, just again, looking at the comments, a large majority of you have capitulated. I see a comment here. I sold last night at a 65% loss, and I'm looking at these prices after having taken some off the table in December when so many of you got angry at me for selling 40% of my crypto in December. I wish I sold more. I mean, hindsight being what it is. But now to be on the other side of that and being like, you know what, I'm this close to buying heavy amounts of crypto. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm this close. And then people looking at me like I'm an idiot again. It's just like, all right, I really think a few weeks from now, we're all going to be, including myself, we're going to be kicking ourselves, being like, man, look at where Flux is right now. I mean, look at where it was on February 24th, 2025. So many people lost money and or are down a lot when the market pumps and they break even, they sell. Sorry,
I got to give you
comment. I'm not down all that much.
I'm doing pretty good
Go
myself. Ahead. Yeah, I got to give you, your flowers on that. That was, you were one of the only ones that was bearish. So I would say you timed that pretty well, from being bearish. And even now, I've been bullish this whole time, but now it's like, no, for real. Like I haven't been this bullish since, since Japan, especially on the altcoins. So you definitely timed well.
Yeah. It wasn't even necessarily that I was bearish. I was just like, hey, looking at the charts, it's time to be cautious. It's time to move from offense to defense. And this is a simple thing that you guys just need to just get into your mindset. Is there's a time to when things are going up, there's a time to just be a little bit more protective of your gains, which nobody did in December. Very few people did that in December. If you're one of the few, less than 10% of you, if you're one of the few who did that in December, I give you props. I was one of the few who did that. And then there's a time to switch back from defense to offense. And all that I'm suggesting, Devin's more bullish or as bullish as he was in August during the Japan rate hikes. All I'm saying is again, here we are. December was a time to move from offense to defense. Here we are, late February, early March. I really think it's going to be a time to move from defense back to offense and just be on the offensive and ready for to strike.
Thoughts on XLM?
XLM, I have some XLM. I'm down on it, and I'm not crying about it. So that was one of the first cryptos that I bought back into after having sold. Let's see, looking at XLM, I need to reconfigure some fibs here. From there's a bunch of different fibs that I would want to draw on this chart. I mean, it looks like the 382 from its November bottom to its peak is a good level of support. But then even on a micro level, where would we go for XLM short term? I am a believer that XRP is going to put in a new all-time high sometime fairly soon, which would only bode well for XLM. So XLM, even on a smaller scale, I mean, I could see this thing. Our 1.618 would be right back to its 2018 and 2021 all-time high at 88 cents. That seems pretty likely to me, and that would be a pretty conservative target. And
right I have a 1, 2, 3 bear bull case for XLM. $1, $2, $3 to keep it simple, but 88 cents, yeah, basically same thing.
Okay.
Solnik says, how do you think the state of the Bitcoin reserve will impact the bull run?
It's good. So we talked about this on our Friday show. We talked about Utah, and we looked at Utah. I mean, Utah is obviously not a huge state, but that's another entity that has more money that will be putting funds into Bitcoin, and that's good. That now, when a lot of people ask that question, the question they're asking is, that mean that we're not going to have any alt season? Into that, I would say again, there are lots and lots of people. By far the largest percent of Bitcoin that is held is by people looking for short-term gains and not long-term gains. And when the time to strike comes, they're most likely going to be rolling over a lot of that into altcoins. And so that will not kill any kind of altcoin run. I could see that on a longer timeline having this kind of an effect where the swings are much different, and where on a longer timeline, I'm talking about like end of this decade, the decades to come after that, we're just going to make a lot more sense to hold Bitcoin than these other than altcoins. And just like, you make your 100x on crap coin, whatever the name, on fart coin, on poo coin, you make your 100x, you just put that into Bitcoin and forget about it. There's going to be a time when that'll be the case. I don't think it's this time though.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's going to be in the wee hours of the night as they're burning the midnight oil. It's going to get passed, and retail is going to miss it. 30K before 100K. You've been saying that for 4 months now, and we're making higher highs still and higher lows. Kronos looking good. I think so. Kronos has the same chart as Flux, has the same chart as VeChain, has the same chart as whatever. X good dinosaur coin has the same exact chart to me on a macro time frame.
Same exact chart near the 2024 bottom. It's the same playbook over and over again. Below the 236. This is a great value play.
What's the next support level for Solana? I think we're here. Like we talked about it a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to V-bottom out of here, but someone said whoever has dry powder, you should probably buy now. XYO 10 to 20 cents for me is my macro targets. If we don't pump by April, we should entirely exit. I don't think that I think that there's zero chance that we don't have some sort of run before then. But even so,
yeah.
Go ahead, Alex. I'll pull up my Bitcoin chart.
Listen, I'm going to be open-minded to everything. That's That's why I sold in December. That's why I sold 40% of my portfolio in December. It's because I'm always going to be open-minded to everything, even if it has an incredibly small chance of happening, like, you know, your version of Mr. Cuz who's calling for 30K before 100K. Very, very, very small chance of happening. I guess sure, not 0% chance. But man, where was I going with that? I just want to emphasize, like, here's what I'm doing right now. I am waiting for my opportunity to buy heavy amounts of spot. I'm not quite there yet, but I've started nibbling a little bit, and I'm down on the nibbles, and I'm not worried about that. But in the meantime, you know what? I'm still looking for opportunities to make money, and trading is not difficult to learn. And I'm sorry to say this. I have 2 trades open right now, and they're both shorts, and I'm up on them. And until we see that reversal, my bias is just naturally going to be towards shorting crypto for some small gains short term. And so I will do that until we see that reversal. If for some reason we go to April or May and we still don't see that reversal, I will have the entire time been shorting crypto more than longing. I also long too. I have longs, I have shorts, but right now I have 2 shorts. But I'm with Devin. We are, I never say 100% chance on anything or 0% chance on anything, but we are more than likely, much more than likely going to see that reversal before.
So I have right here the sell in May, and I want to clarify, sell in May, go away. I want to clarify a little something about this. So on the left, I have Bitcoin, and this is during the C19 crash. And then on the right, this was the tariff, the total 3 crash, which is what I would measure as the altcoins. And my theory is this is a similar structural move, although not the exact same, but a very similar structural move, especially the violency of it happening, right? So what I want to be clear about when we look at, you know, Bitcoin, in regards from May until August, September, which is typically like sell in May, go away, and then you start getting your Thanksgiving Santa Claus rally, right? Well, what I want to be clear about with Bitcoin, it's not like Bitcoin was bloody through these times. I mean, it had some moves to the upside, 20%, then it had some 20% crashes. It's not like it was completely bloody and dead. It's just, it was boring. It was boring for 180 days, 150 days. And the thing about retail is, you know, there's 3 ways that the apex predator capitulates. And I would say there's levels to it, right? And like level 1 as retail, I think once you get over level 1 is FOMOing, right? Chasing green candles. That's the first thing that you need to like overcome. You don't want to be chasing green candles. So level 1 would be the way that retail gets capitulated is by jealousy and FOMOing. They sell their fundamental things for something that already did a 20x and then their exit liquidity. So that's level 1. Level 2 is your violent, scary crashes like this. So like you get over the FOMO and then you get over the fear. And then level 3, and it takes retail a long time, if ever, to figure this out. The third way that the apex predator capitulates you, meaning you sell when you shouldn't be selling, is through boredom. And when, in my opinion, what we had last time and what I think we're going to have again, the sell in May, go away, is just going to be a long, boring period until you know, probably September again. And I'm not even calling for that, but that's generally what we see. It's just there's not a lot of price action. It's not like it's we're just going to go to, you know, Hades. It's just boring.
It's just a low volume. It's a low volume period. And so any kind of significant pumps, any surprise pump is going to be sold off, and any surprise dump is going to be bought up. And yeah, if we don't pump by April, should we exit entirely? No, but we should just prepare ourselves for nothing exciting to happen in the summer, or in the northern hemisphere in the summer. I want to be respectful to my Australian bros. And you know, what's the famous Warren Buffett saying? Or I think it's Warren Buffett, right?
Yep.
The market, it's just a transfer of funds from the impatient to the patient. And so I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. You were ready. You were ready to make your millions in January 1st, 2025, and it didn't happen. And so what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? Maybe some of you should just sell and go away and learn to be patient by buying Walmart stock
Yeah.
or something and just holding it forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing is, someone was telling me like, "Oh, you've been bullish for 6 months." It's like, "Bro, is 6 months a long time for you?" Let's start there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's patience. Yeah, that is man, that's the truest thing in this game is patience. And what people screw up too is not being patient, and then they get overexposed. They max out their credit cards, they borrow from their grandma, they borrow from their father-in-law, all these different things. And I just think that that's a mistake. You shouldn't be putting yourself in a position that where you can't sustain for 3+ years, you know?
Yeah.
Any hopium for Solnick? Yeah, Solnick has a lot of stuff in the I mean, we're at the back test of the prior range. We have some pretty things big cooking up. The whales know. If you want to know, you got to be a whale. But other than that, the things that are public is, the same thing for he is we got the Gmail listing in March. And then later on, we're creating the stablecoin. We got the swap app. You're going to be able to stake, lend, borrow, liquidity mine, everything that you can do on Radium. You're going to be able to do with Solnick, which is good. But as far as technically, it's just had the back test of the prior range. Retail. Listen, I think this is a smart comment right here. Retail who bought in November are selling on a loss to smart money are accumulating. I couldn't agree more.
Sir Luis, what's up, man? And then he says quantitative easing is the number one sign for alt season, like in 2020 with the money printing. I mean, that's something I've been saying for quite a while. And so what does that look like? Where's when going to come is the question. And I mean, there are signs that maybe, and I've been pretty steadfast in saying like money printing would come. And I'm not a huge fan of money printing. I'm not a fan at all of money printing, but that money printing would come pretty aggressively at the end of this year or early 2026. But I am looking at the M2 money supply chart right now. If you want to, could you show my screen, Devin? I mean, look at M2 over time, and what you would see historically is just, a small move up, just steady, slow, steady move up. 2008 comes, quantitative easing is introduced, and that gets much more aggressive, a much more aggressive climb. And then COVID comes, and it's just shoot through the roof. And then M2 money supply peaks in the middle of 2022. And it actually reverses until bottoming out in 2023, but now it's climbing again, and I'm really curious about the angle of this climb. I mean, if you're it's still super early with the angle of the climb, but this angle, it does seem to me like it's forming a more aggressive climb as time is going on. And so it may be that we get some heavy doses of money printing here sometime soon. And you pair that with the possibility of the Fed ending quantitative tightening, which is very likely to happen in 2024. It's just a matter of when. When is quantitative tightening going to
25.
end? When is quantitative easing? Yeah, well, this year. Yeah, it's just so it's just a matter of when the Fed actually announces that. Then altcoins are going to thrive. It's just, who knows? I mean, another thing of patience.
Dave says, didn't Crypto Bastard call it over and sold everything but Soba?
I don't know. Did he?
I don't. Is he like? Is he like known for his calls? I don't know.
That's also a good question. I don't know.
Like, is he a TA guy? I don't even know that. Either way, moving on.
All right.
Yeah, I disagree. Thoughts on Rose or Axelar? My God, Rose for me.
I bought Rose last week. I bought it a little early. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I bought it early too.
So there's my thoughts on Rose.
I bought it too early too.
Yeah,
Thoughts on Chainlink?
I'm sure Chainlink's fine. Let me go to.
While you're pulling it up,
To
I'll tell you
Chainlink here.
my thoughts on Chainlink. Chainlink is in my kids' portfolio. So to me,
There we go.
that means it's a 10-year play. I have a portfolio
Yeah.
for my kids, and it's just like, you know, a college fund, but really it's more like a business fund, you know, so to speak, and how they can start their lives when they're an adult. But Chainlink is in there, Bitcoin's in there, XRP's in there, Ethereum's in there. So there you go. That's my thoughts on Chainlink. Go ahead.
Here's a suggestion. If you're new to trading, Chainlink is a fantastic crypto to trade. Long, short, whatever. I've talked about this a bunch, but I mean, I like the fact Chainlink's at the 200-day moving average. I tend to think that at least short term, it's going to hold that. I don't think it goes to the bottom of this range where it'd be $13.92 or so. But okay, with the losing of the previous range, is that real or is that a wick? Chainlink's one of the few. I'm actually kind of surprised looking at this chart. It's sweeping the lows of the liquidation wick right now. Given my bias that I do think we're going to see a reversal soon, this seems to me like an ideal entry for Chainlink. A revisiting of the lows, a sweeping of the liquidation lows, that the chances of it going much lower than that would be on risk to reward would be in your favor.
Yeah,
But
looking at your chart, I would call that big wick on the left your selling climax, and I would call the liquidation going lower your secondary test, which in textbook Wyckoff would go lower than the selling climax. Thoughts on XYO? I like XYO. My macro targets.
I bought some XYO last week.
Someone says Jamil been the most accurate out of everybody. Who?
Jamil, we were on a live with him once. All right, so up to this point, there's no denying he has been very accurate, and if he ends up being right, then great. So Jamil, he called for a peak in 2024, and then I think on Christmas, his pinned tweet on his profile is "Merry Christmas, the peak is behind us." So and he's been sticking with that and saying that it is over, and he's been saying that since December. Again, I mean, if he ends up being right, great. I actually do agree with him on a lot because, I had my original exit strategy target as 2 to 4 months after the first rate cuts, but then I changed my exit after Trump won to thinking that we're going to have another leg up in the spring. Or in the end of the first quarter, early second quarter of this year. So props to Jamil so far, but if you ended up listening to Jamil and you sold everything in December and you're done, hey, you won. That's what you should be rooting for, is that you win. You make more gains in your portfolio than you lose. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next.
Yeah, I don't know his position in 22 or 23. That's like how far out do we want to go? I don't know. I don't really know anything about him, so I don't want to speak on him.
Sure.
My kid's portfolio has He and Solnick. I think that's a good, solid portfolio.
Let's go.
10-year plays. Thoughts on LCX? I like LCX. I think it gets to above $1. What was Rose?
Just LCX. I was pleasantly surprised to see it's at 22 cents right now.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, it's recovered very well. I don't know why, but props to LCX.
Still confident. Alt's running until May. Yes, I have not been this bullish in the market since Japan, especially when it comes to altcoins. I have not been this bullish in the market since the Japan fiasco.
And my stance is simply defense to offense.
Yep. Alex is becoming more and more bullish too. Rose prediction, I think 38 cents for a macro target is very, very plausible.
I'll leave it at that.
Your kids will be millionaires by 5.
So by 8 years ago, my oldest will be a millionaire. Sounds good.
Someone asked me, Glenn says, why are you so bullish right now? Just because sentiment is in the dumps. Sentiment's in the absolute dumps. Smart money is buying. So BlackRock is buying Ethereum. Legislation is all, sort of lining up. And meanwhile, retail is just, the sentiment is just super bearish. And these are all like the storm of what I'm looking for as far as like sentiment goes. And then when we look at a technical perspective, we've been chopping for 110 days for Bitcoin. The longer the chop, the higher the launch. A lot of your altcoins with low to no inflation, good tokenomics, are at their bear market lows. Like how much lower are we going to go? If we can't, when you have multiple years of support, are you going to get through that? Like, sure. Is that possible? Yeah, that's anything in the matrix is possible. Luna could break their blockchain, right? Anything is possible, but is it probable? No, it's not probable. And then when you combine that with where we're at on the DXY, where we're at with Bitcoin dominance, there's a lot of things pointing towards this is it. But that's my opinion. So yes, especially the main reason I'm so bullish is sentiment is just the lowest it's been for a long time.
I mean, and I want to be clear. I did say this earlier in the live stream. Like, there's a noticeable difference between today and Friday.
Yes.
Like, even post hack, Bybit hack, I see, somebody says, or does that mean they are just complaining that they used a more vulgar word, and I don't want to get suspended or shut down on TikTok. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. All I can say is, a lot of the anger in December was, how dare you sell? How could you possibly be bearish right now? And my response was, I'm just going to defense. And now it's like the anger is, how could you possibly be saying to buy right now? And all right, here we go again. Round and round. Yeah.
Here we go again. I agree. I'm right there with you. Yeah. A lot of my bull from December through a lot of my bullishness personally from December until now was a lot of Solnik too, because Solnik performed very well during that time. But now not only am I bullish on Solnik, but I'm bullish on the blue chip altcoins, low to no inflation tokenomics, and I haven't been this bullish since that time.
Yeah. There's a question: how low will Bitcoin's dominance go to? When will you take profits? We might have different thoughts on that. That'll be interesting to get your perspective on. I have been saying, like, all right, I am not expecting full-blown alt season for whatever's next, between now and May. I'm not expecting full-blown altcoin season. I am expecting a good move up on altcoins where the total altcoin market cap hits a new all-time high. For Bitcoin dominance, I'm going to be pretty aggressive taking profits. If it gets under 55% to the lower 50s, I'll be pretty much out, and then I'm going to let the rest ride. If it were to be one of those things where it's like a typical alt season where Bitcoin dominance goes to 40% or even lower, then my goodness, I don't think that's in the cards for the next few months. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to pull up my chart here. Let me clean this up just a little bit. I wrote, shoot. My thoughts are, and I'm going to try to do this while I'm cleaning this up because I've scribbled all over it like a little child. If we look at the, the thing that you was mentioning,
You might need to switch to your
Yeah.
screen.
so if we look at, the macro 702 where Bitcoin is, right? The macro 702 where Bitcoin is, which is it has nailed it on the head almost perfectly. And that is your maximum retracement. That's what I would consider that is your maximum retracement. Rarely do you see stuff like it. TradingView will come stock with 786. Rarely do you see 786 get hit and then it doesn't break. But the 702 to me is the decider. Are you going into price discovery or are you just coming back? And the way that the function of Bitcoin is, I don't think that it's probable at all that you really ever go into price discovery, just because it's on a scale of 0 to 100, right? But if we were to look at this on the macro time frame and look at this, I mean, this is accumulation. This is your sign of strength to the 702 Fibonacci retracement. What you would expect, maybe not tomorrow, is a back test of the prior range. And that would be somewhere between 52% on the higher end of things and 46.69%. So that would be where I would anticipate. I don't necessarily anticipate that we're going to go lower than all of this support, especially because we didn't even go lower back in 2017 even. So this would be like, your bottom. So going on top of that, I think is a plausible move, which would be 40, call it 47%.
47% is not insignificant. That's significant returns on altcoins. Too greedy because there's going to be for the lower 40s or even to the 30s. And just don't be a bag holder, as always.
That's my most let me be clear too.
Yeah.
That's my most bullish case scenario. I would say 52 is more medium, and then bullish would be 47. So there you go. To really dial it in.
That sounds great right now. Sure. I think everyone in this live stream would take a
what? Let me move this a little bit. What do you think happens if they find no to little no gold in Fort Knox? Next black swan. Well, very, very definition, it can't be a black swan because we know about it.
Yeah.
I think it's bullish. I think it's super bullish.
Yeah.
Go.
I feel like gold would print like a $1,000 candle after that. Finding that this asset that's very rare is actually much more rare than it was before.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a black swan at all. I think it would crush the DXY. I think that's what would happen.
Yeah.
The strength of the dollar.
Yes. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it would obliterate the DXY. Gold would go. It would be very good for gold, and it would perhaps be good for Bitcoin too. But I think mostly it would crush the DXY.
Definitely.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up from here. What do you think?
I think it's a good time to wrap it up. I think you were reading my mind. I feel like I saw a comment, Alex lagging. It's like, all right, I want to check my my system and everything, and can't wait. I'm getting a new computer on Friday, so
upgrades. All right, guys, we'll be live
Wednesday,
the same time. And then also Fridays, it looks like that's when Alvarez is going to be on the show with us. He can't do this time and we can't change so it'll be Monday, Wednesday, me and Alex. Friday, it'll be me, Alex, and Alvarez. But yeah, the crypto wake up show. But yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. We will never message you. Those are people from Pakistan or Kakistan, not us.
Do not redeem.
Do not redeem. There is no airdrops. For the love of God, do not redeem. Do not redeem. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this time. Peace.